All right, leave us a quick take if you heard something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, and we'll play your take back on our next episode. So we got a voicemail line here. He called in. He had to go ahead and say what he had to say about the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. So let's do it. Here he is.
Hey, so I just saw your video about Caleb Williams absolutely being asked this Sunday. And me as a Patriots fan, I just love to see it. But I don't think they should give up on him just yet and let it play out to see if he's going to be someone who can redeem himself or if he's just going to be the next Bryce Young, first overall pick quarterback that just sucks. So I think that they should definitely give him some more chance, maybe bring in an old player to coach him up a little bit, like what Jacoby Brissett's doing with Drake May. And I think maybe he'll get to the potential that he was set in the NFL draft. And if that does happen, then the Bears could be a legitimate contender next year. But this year, I think they just have to pack it up and look for a good draft pick. Because 4 wins can still get you top 5.
Okay. First off, man, hey, I appreciate you for calling. Always, anyone who gives us a call, I appreciate it. And, we're going to play your tape back. So the thing here, first couple of points I want to talk about. You mentioned how, you think they should stick with Caleb Williams and really see where it goes. I agree with you to an extent. The part of me where I'm like, they're going to become a big factor in the NFC, which means it's another team for the Falcons to worry about, and it's another team that's going to shake up the NFC North. That part of me is no, keep Caleb Williams. Don't even worry about we're trying to get anybody else. Don't worry about no trades, none of that. Keep them. But the other half of me is all right, if you get rid of them, it's not gonna make much sense. So I kind of agree with you there. But the main thing that really hit me was you mentioned how the older players' presence always helps out the younger players, and bringing in an older guy to help coach Caleb Williams up. I think this could be extremely beneficial for Caleb Williams. I said it before and I'll say it again. Young quarterbacks need to sit down and watch the game from the sideline sometimes. I'm telling y'all, we've seen this formula help quarterbacks in so many different ways. A lot of the quarterbacks that we just came off of an era watching, those guys developed because they had time to sit and watch another quarterback do their job. And it may not have been for a long time, but they definitely sat for at least a season minimum, or at least almost a full season, to see what the other guy can do in front of them before they actually took the field. Jordan Love is an example. Tom Brady is an example. Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Geno Smith. A lot of these guys and the quarterbacks that we see now who are balling had time to sit down. Everybody's not going to be a Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's not going to be a Lamar Jackson. Everybody's not going to be a CJ Stroud like media wants them to be. They need to sit down for a second, watch the game from the sideline, and call it a day. When your name is called, that's when you go out there and apply everything you've learned and apply the reps that you've been taking. But quarterbacks going in, starting right away, it's been a recipe for disaster. And yeah, guys are going to get better and better as time goes on. But at the same time, bro, you want to bring your quarterback in to win games immediately. You don't want to just throw him out there to be getting reps. So I feel mixed ways about it. I want guys to get experience, but also at the same time, you need to be out there winning games, not just getting reps just to help out with experience. You need to be out there actually competing and being able to help your offense. Right now, we got a lot to discuss with Caleb Williams. We got a lot to discuss with Caleb Williams. Going back to the voicemail, I'm not even gonna go Caleb Williams right now because we're gonna discuss some of that in just a sec. But you mentioned the draft pick. They still got time to get a top 5 draft pick on the trajectory that they are in. I think it's definitely time, and the Bears should just wrap it up, bro. Go ahead, wrap it up. It's looking bad for the season, and I'll explain why in a second after we get to some news. All right, and news for the run. Let's get into it, man, because we got a lot to update y'all on. So let's start off with some college football, because it was some solid college football games that happened over the weekend, and it wasn't too many upsets or anything like that, but a big upset that did happen was between Ole Miss and Georgia. Ole Miss, they ended up defeating number 3 Georgia 28-10. This caught many people as a surprise. Georgia Tech also pulled off a huge upset. They beat number 4 Miami 28-23. Was a crazy game there. Caught a lot of people by surprise. Oregon, they're sitting at number 1 right now. They took care of business against Maryland. They beat them 39-18. Ohio State smacked Purdue 45-0. Left them boys on a goose egg. Texas, they beat Florida. Ended up winning that game 49-17. Penn State, they beat Washington. Tennessee took care of business against Mississippi State. Indiana, they ended up defeating Michigan. Notre Dame, they won. Alabama got the dub over LSU 42-13. Also, Colorado ended up pulling a big win over Texas Tech. It helped them get ranked now even higher. So let's go to the rankings because why not? So the rankings is gonna look a little bit different than what you may have seen. Obviously, there was some updates from last week when we talked about the teams who were top 5. So now you're seeing the difference here in Oregon. They're sitting at number 1. Ohio State is at number 2. Texas is at number 3. Penn State number 4, and Indiana is at number 5. Now, mind you, Indiana is an undefeated school. They climbed the charts by 3 different spots. Alabama's down to number 9. They climbed up a little bit, 2 spots, but a huge fall from University of Miami. Miami was sitting top 5, but they just took this harsh L against Georgia Tech, and now they fell all the way down to 12. You also see a huge drop from the University of Georgia as well. And Georgia, man, it was rough. So they were sitting top 5 as well, but now they're back down to number 11. So a lot of changes there. Still some undefeated teams. You got a couple undefeated that's left. You got Indiana, who's undefeated. Oregon, they're undefeated at 10-0. Both of these teams are 10-0. Indiana, Oregon. You got BYU. They still haven't lost the game, sitting at 9-0. And then you got Army, who's at number 16, and they're 9-0 right now as well. So, man, these boys is battling. They battling right now. I mentioned Colorado was also ranked at this time. They're ranked number 18. They're 7-2. Just, for my people out there on Colorado Watch with Deion Sanders and Shador and his kids and all of that. So having a pretty successful season with them right now. So got to be happy about that. But let's go to some NFL scores because the NFL definitely had a solid week so far. And we still got a Monday night game happening tonight between the Dolphins and the Rams. I personally think the Rams is going to take away that win there. But you had Thursday night football. The Ravens, they defeated the Cincinnati Bengals in a close matchup. It was wild. The Atlanta Falcons, they fell short to the New Orleans Saints. They have no pieces. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. I'm at the Bears game watching the Bears, and I'm checking up the game for the Atlanta Falcons. The updates are just telling me play after play was awful, sloppy, turnover, missed pass, couldn't connect, missed block, fumble. I'm glad I didn't watch it, to be honest. I'm actually very glad I didn't watch this team fall apart. I probably didn't want to watch it anyway. I probably would have wanted to change it to something else. So I'm glad I didn't get to witness it, but I'm also very, very, very upset that they lost to the New Orleans Saints. The Panthers, they ended up beating the Giants in Germany. The Bears, they lost to the Patriots, as you just heard on the voicemail line, and we got some information about that. The Chiefs, they beat the Broncos with the luck of Cupid, the luck of a fairy tale. Man, I don't know how they beat the Broncos. They were supposed to lose this game, but they won off a blocked field goal. Man, the Chiefs working that magic. They working that magic. The 49ers, they beat the Buccaneers. Christian McCaffrey finally came back, had his first game back, played pretty solid. But above all, helped the 49ers get the win. Steelers, they ended up beating the Commanders by 1 point, 28-27. The Vikings beat the Jaguars. Eagles beat the Cowboys. Cardinals beat the Jets. And the Detroit Lions beat the Houston Texans in prime time on Sunday.